Welcome to One Word a Day. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. Let's continue. Look at equestrian concepts. 边 is today's character. And just by looking at it, simplified, traditional look the same, complicate. And even 2,000 years ago's dictionary, even more, right? But one continuation is on the left side, it's 革, that means leather. So obviously, whip is made of leather. And the right side means convenience or ease. And that made up the human figure in the middle. So this is a very narrow because there are so many components. Totally, there is one, two, three, four separated icons. That's can separable parcels or the parts of meaning making parts. So this is human figure, very narrow to give space to 革. On the left side, the leather, and the right side, we have three-finger hand symbol holding vertical line and horizontal line is the simple tool. It was said to be the fortune telling tool. So it could extend to any kind of tool. So it's humans back then was aware that tool making and tool using was empowering, was enabling humans to do more than individual and natural set of what human capabilities. It's amplifier. Kind of today we're using AI to amplify our capacity. Ancient times, this one vertical line, one horizontal line, tiny little thing is that simple. We're almost like holding a key to something, right? Okay, the top side is 丙. Okay, this 丙 concept is 甲乙丙. So it's the number three in Chinese sequential ranking of things. So 丙 means the number three, and also 丙 in 天干地支is a Chinese way to explain the world. So Chinese world modeling. So back then, China, as well as many cultures in the world, already attempted to model the whole world, right? So how this whole world we live in operates to kind of decode the user manual of the universe, basically. And this 丙 was used to mean the energy of fire or the element of fire, or it symbolizes the one horizontal line, the top line is heaven. And then this big arch means anything below heaven, all the space below. And then we have this thing within this arch means some energy, something come from the heaven to earth. And we can understand why it symbolizes the fire symbol, right? Because in ancient times, probably the fire first started by lightning. So it's a gift from heaven. And if humans can keep that fire on, we have the source of fire. That's how we started before we can self-start fire. It's heaven gift to our space, to human world. And so from there, you can see fire use and human intentionally and self-aware use of tools, either fortune telling or something else, plus the human figure on the left. That make our life easier, right? So altogether, it means simple, convenient, easy concept like that. And then we have leather. So the leather, a little bit unpacking, would be the middle part of here, the mouth symbol look like that, was said to be the pile of the skinned animal skin. So leather, what is leather? Even if in English we call it a leather. Leather is a skinned, it's the animal skin, skinned off the animal, right? So, I mean, if we think about how we get leather, it's pretty bloody, right? So that was said to be this pile of animal skin already skinned off. And then the top portion was the leftovers of the head of the animal. And then we have the tail of the animal, the rest of the body that's already without the skin. Pretty bloody. That's a Chinese kind of a non-bloody way to simplify and visualize what leather was to us, which is we take from the animal off their skin and use for our purpose, become one of the major materials we use in ancient times. So that's leather. So leather convenience together became the whip and applied to horse context. It would be for our convenience, this leather thing we use to whip the horse for a convenient control of the horse. So even if we have harness to direct how the horse is going, but how fast the horse should go, right? Is controlled by the whip. And I'm not sure, like, I only saw it on movies. I'm not sure how it works, but the rider may whip the butt of the horse to make the horse almost like reactively run faster, right? Because the pain's in the back. So the horse tried to run forward to stay away from the paint, which was burning on the back end. And eventually, once this done enough, the sound of the whip probably already is enough to trigger the horse to go faster, even without the pain part, because of the sound of the whip concur with the pain of the whip. And this combination is kind of Pavlov's dog, right? Salivating toward the bell sound. So the two signals, pain signal and the sound signal merged. So here is the same way, and whip eventually become a signal to the animal, to the horse, that you need to speed up. All right, so that's origin of Bian and how language used this whip to incorporate our human practice. Because, I mean, very few of us ever whip a horse. That's a very limited scope of use. So when we already create such a concept, even if originally used on horse, speed up practice, but we repurpose this character to 鞭策、鞭笞、鞭长莫及, and a lot more expressions. Here I'm just giving you three to give you a tip of the iceberg to say, okay, how this language can repurpose the concept of 鞭, the whip, to create concept that we can conceptually whip our minds with. Okay, let's see. 鞭策. If you know a little bit of Chinese, both 策 and 吃 have the bamboo symbol on the top. So that means something made of bamboo, just like 鞭 is made of leather. So bamboo plus this 吃, I believe it's 吃 because we don't use that alone anymore. This 吃 means piercing. So this is sharp or piercing whip. So apparently this whip, for it to be effective, probably the leather, even with the momentum of whipping it, may land some pain on horse. But if you do that often, and horse probably pain tolerance level raises, and it's harder to inflict enough pain to send the signal through. So people came up with this sharp, made of bamboo at the edge of the leather whip, so that when you whip it, it really hurts. Okay, it's kind of animal cruelty. Think about it. But 鞭策 is the practice of you really not only whip it, but you inflict real pain, sharp pain, through the action of whipping. So I translated whip, sharp whip, to tell you, even if both of them are made of bamboo, they have different connotations. I mean, right now it's the meaning of the pain inflicting whip, which is kind of whip plus, right, enhanced whipping. Okay, connotation wise, 鞭策 actually means verbally. Okay, so it's almost in today's context or conceptualization of English world, it's almost toxic. Well, erase that. Okay, it's not exactly toxic. It's not accurate. It means you give somebody's negative feedback. It feels so bad to the opinion receiver that it hurts as if it whipped them through this, causing this sharp pain, this intellectual, mental pain to people, so that they have behavior change. Because we all know to change a person is really hard. And sometimes to really speed up such change, you need to inflict sort of verbal sharp pain to them. And I'm guessing probably that is why 鞭策 Chinese have such a concept of to really get the negative feedback, causing pain, just mental or through the use of words, kind of unkind words can really sting you. That kind of words send the negative feedback to people is the way to go to make them change. So because Chinese recognize that, and I guess that's probably why, you know, Chinese or in general Asian parenting technique would have this tiger mom or really parents are really unrelenting. They don't use language to show love and support. Instead, they prefer to love you by hurting you verbally so that you get whipped through that sharp pain all the time so that you can run faster. Simply because I guess China is a high density population country, and to with limited resource, right? So competition over there is high, and parents have that anxiety for if their children can make it, and so they have to try harder. So everybody whip their verbal whip at their children to try to make them sharper, to sharpen their minds. And I mean, not so sure about the body. PE education over China was not prioritized, but at least sharpen their mind, sharpen their math. I mean, learning math was hard, right? Why do you think Chinese kids kind of default as the math wizard? It's because the pain the parents are inflicting on on their children was harder to take than just doing your math homework. All right, I'm just stopping there. All right, that's my theory. I'm not sure. Okay, 编制 is now here is about bamboo whip. So here it doesn't have the connotation of verbal attack for the purpose of the benefit of speeding up the growth. 鞭笞, okay, is the physical pain. So 鞭笞is almost like a corporal punishment, and it doesn't have the more advanced meaning of 鞭策. Okay, this is 鞭策, this is 鞭笞. Okay, 鞭长莫及, talking about yeah, you have a long whip, but you cannot even reach that far. So here is talking about either government law or somebody's influence cannot reach far out of their, in this case, it's not a wingspan, but whip span. Like their whip of influence cannot reach the area you're talking about. So 鞭长莫及 talks about the limit of your influence. All right, so here is a pretty sharp looking whip welding cowgirl. And I guess Chinese appreciate the function of whipping so much that we have 鞭策. We know we want to whip our kids with our words so that they become sharper somehow. And I hope that cultural connotation can be explained somehow, can be used to explain somehow this weird behavior of Asian parenting. All right. Thank you very much for your time.